very popular piece you have here on Goldman Sachs Judas blazes media path, internet sensation.
Right.
Greg Smith of Goldman Sachs. Can you make these things happen? Can you, can you make something go viral, or does it just have to be the right combination of stuff?
Well, I'll tell you a little secret, which you know by now. Headline writing is very important. If
right.
you put the word,
so
right
use the
headline.
word Judas, for example, which is a little hot button issue.
But he was a traitor to Goldman Sachs. By their standpoint, a traitor. He was in their midst on Tuesday,
that he was
on Wednesday
no
he was
Judas.
traitor.
Greg Smith would say that he's no Judas.
Well,
but that was the angle,
Right.
Insider goes rogue,
Yeah.
And plus there's so many Goldman haters out there across the globe.
It's a tough call.
That once you put out something, they're just they're huge. There are armies of people who just love to hate
Goldman's
Goldman
the Yankees,
Sachs.
basically, of Wall Street.
Yeah, probably not as popular as the Yankees, though.
Could be.
So let me ask you. We talked about this earlier. I think I talked about it with Mike. Let's say the article, the op-ed, the resignation letter is from some guy at another investment bank.
Right.
Some guy at Morgan Stanley, or let's say Lazard,
right.
Or let's say the guy works at General Motors and he's a mid-level engineer at GM, talks about, GM doesn't know how to make cars anymore. Does it become an internet sensation?
That might. The last one actually might.
You think the last one might? I'm not so sure.
But no, I think the thing is, you're right. I mean, Goldman Sachs is a hot button name. You mentioned Goldman Sachs. You get an argument, pro or con. Mostly con these days, because people seem to love to hate Goldman Sachs. And having an executive who's in the ranks of 12 years come forth and say, this firm is not what you think, folks, or it is what you think, folks, even worse, it's pretty serious.
Okay, now, I have a question for you. I said in my piece, which I did on Greg Smith as well, he got his 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
We had a little chat earlier.
Right.
Does this thing run and run, or does it by this weekend, maybe by Monday, we're done?
I may be crazy. I think it runs.
Why does it run?
Because there are so many angles and permutations to this story. It's an incredibly sexy story for the media to ponder on many, many levels.
Right. Do you think the New York Times was right to just run the op-ed as it did, and to then they did a live blog of reaction to this thing? They really played it for everything it was worth, didn't the New York Times?
Well, the proof's in the pudding. 3 million page views by Wednesday afternoon. That's a lot of page views. And they apparently made the right call.
Now, do you think Greg Smith will have an easy time monetizing his popularity? Can he?
The balloon goes way up.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
You think he can monetize those 3 million page views?
Not on Wall Street.
Not on Wall Street.
He's done on Wall Street.
So what does he do? He gets a slot on the Today Show? Are you saying that Greg Smith could take my role as co-hosting with Kelly Ripa?
Never. That would never happen. The king is alive. That would never happen. I think he can write books, though.
He can write a book. What about his time as an equity derivative specialist?
No, Ben, at Goldman Sachs, though. I don't care if he's the office boy at Goldman Sachs. You name names at Goldman Sachs, you got a book there.
Name names. I mean, he wasn't senior enough to name names because he wasn't invited to the meetings where Lloyd wasn't thinking people like that.
You could find names.
You think this thing runs and runs?
Runs. One run. I think by Monday afternoon, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, not running.